All right, let's get started. Let's see. This week, the LBA rewrite merged. I'm working on an assert failure Yingzhen ran into, I think, also Chunmei and myself. I can reproduce it. I'm just trying to find the cause. Greg.
Uh, I am reading code and documentation and trying to find things to grasp onto. I put in a couple little PRs that I from stuff I ran into, so those went in quick. Thanks for merging, guys. Uh, Gonna do more of that as I work towards being able to look at multi-core utilization.
Exciting. Chunmei, how's it going?
Uh, I'm working on the profiling. Okay. This is a profiling, FIO profiling result, and the write latency is more worse than the Ceph OSD. Ceph OSD with BlueStar, and the read latency is a little better when the workload is increased.
Cool. I think the next step will be to get
and the cycles per OP also more worse than the Ceph OSD. That the read latency, read cycle per OP is close to Ceph OSD when workload is increased. And so for our Crimson OSD, when the workload is increased, the read cycles OP is reduced. But for the write, it's still increased.
So are we still seeing similar utilization between Crimson OSD and Ceph OSD? In the past, it was the case that Crimson OSD used quite a bit less CPU. Is that still true?
Before, the Crimson OSD used less CPUs, but when we used repeat, I think when we used when the condition conflicted, when we used repeat, it increased. The use more CPUs. And before I only
So wait, we're talking about interruptible future with BlueStore, right?
Yes, when we use interrupt feature, all condition, interrupt condition. Before I only can test one number job and two L depths. So that is very simple test result because LBA has a problem. But currently,
you're comparing SeaStore to BlueStore. Okay, got it.
And SeaStore, BlueStore, Crimson with SeaStore and Ceph with BlueStore. So right. That is the performance. So seems we don't have better performance.
Not yet. No. No. We haven't even started optimizing it yet. So that's not a huge surprise. It's a good baseline though.
And
we would expect to have fewer cycles per op though, even now, right? Except that I think this probably doesn't account, unless this runs long enough, it wouldn't account for BlueStore.
SeaStore is really inefficient currently. Currently, it doesn't even write extents known to be long-lived to a different segment. That's Shuihan's PR, which should merge shortly. But even very basic optimizations aren't in yet.
Okay.
It's essentially designed to do as much garbage collection work as physically possible. Currently.
So, and this is the Riddle's bench collected matrix, and I run 10 rounds, and each round 10 minutes. So totally 1.5 hour. And reduce bench. This is FL matrix. So seems a little different from the matrix output. So everybody can check it.
So I think the next step, as good as these comparisons are, the next step will be to actually identify areas of SeaStore where we should be making improvements.
Yes.
Do you have a setup that would allow you to do profiling that would allow you to identify hotspots? Areas of high CPU utilization?
Yes, because before I used the memory store to compare the CPU, Crimson used less CPU, but currently when we use the SeaStore, I think we used something repeated again. The CPU always running, and the CPU is very, very high usage in currently.
That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is we can use something like OProfile or anything else to get statistical sampling of stack traces during execution of one of these runs that'll allow us to get attribution of where SeaStore is spending its time, and that'll tell us what to optimize. So yes, I think that's the next step.
I can use the perf to give
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
So I think that's the next step. There are a lot of data structures that still need to be optimized, and with Zhuihan's patch, there will be a lot of behavior related to where we choose to write extents that will be interesting to optimize. So I think that's the next step. Cool. Good to hear.
And modify some INSYN CPG2 to support FIO matrix analysis. So that's all.
Cool. Radek, how's it going?
Hello. Two main things. First of all, Rook Integration has sent a PR that adds the mon host override option to the mon map building. Another thing, the out-of-order sequencer finally went through tautology. I haven't found any memory issues like use after free or basically lifetime management issues. So I'm going to send it as a PR. And now I'm doing through results of the backhand tautology run. Looks there is a problem with there is a stack during peering. Trying to analyze, trying to drill through that. That's me.
Okay. Moreno? I think you just joined. Do you have anything to share with us?
Hey guys, no, I'm actually new to this meeting. I was just joining to see what's up.
Welcome. Okay, Srinivasa?
No, Samuel. It's like I'm just getting the knowledge still.
All right. Tian?
Yeah. I'm helping INSYN to the WeTune, the Intel WeTune to profiling the Crimson on the memory store. As you see from TrueMate's result, that there will be high CPU utility in the Crimson, especially on the SeaStore. So we would like to check what's happening there. But based on my prior experience, as I'm also working on some storage project with the customer, with the other routine programming on the sort of the storage, there will be high CPU utility in the coroutine design. That will be shown in the high I-cache miss and the branch prediction issues there. So this may be caused by the coroutine contact switch or something others. But I think we will see what's happening on the SeaStore there. So when TrueMaze testing is ready, so we can use the WeTune to check the details on TrueMaze setup. So that's it.
I think that would be great. I do want to point out, though, that, like I said before, there are a lot of very basic, just storage algorithmic things that SeaStore doesn't have yet. One of the more basic strategies for a log structured file system is to write expected long-lived extents not to the journal segment. And SeaStore doesn't do that yet. So the segment cleaner garbage collector has to look at every piece of data written. It's wildly inefficient. So that probably is the first thing to fix. Details of instruction cache business will also be interesting. And I am interested in seeing those results as well. But there's lower hanging fruit, I think.
Yeah, okay. That will be very interesting because we will see what's happening in Crimson.
If that is the problem, then I would expect you to see a lot of time spent in the garbage collector, in the segment cleaner specifically. So you should be able to confirm or rule that out.
Okay. And another question here is that as the curfew has left Red Hat, so may I know, is there anyone from your team to backfill his role?
Yeah, me.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you can talk to me if you need to talk to someone on the Red Hat side.
Is there any other one from Red Hat so far?
Other than myself? Greg Farnham is also at Red Hat.
Not anyone in your time or in Asia time zone, though.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Other people will probably start working on Crimson over the next year, so perhaps someone else in a more convenient time zone. I try to be pretty responsive to emails, though, so, well, for what it's worth, anyway.
Okay. Yes. So far, because I heard that because I just talked with the Insi's manager that Intel will add more resource on the Crimson project, maybe in the next quarter or sometimes. So yeah, that's a good news. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Cool.
All right, Zhuihan.
Last week I was mainly working on two things. The first is I'm still developing the multi-device support for SeaStore. Right now I'm trying to modify the behavior of segment cleaner to make it work with multiple devices. I think there needs more sophisticated modifications for it to work correctly. I think I thought this too easy earlier this month. Right now I'm working on the extend placement manager PR. I'm trying to implement a standard condition variable in Crimson because I think the extend placement manager needs it to work correctly. That's all for me.
Okay, so my two things are, I would encourage you to, there's only one condition variable usage in this patch, right?
Yes, when the extend placement manager tries to write multiple extents to different segments.
It's just like a scatter gather thing? You need to send out several IOs and you need to wait for them all to complete before continuing? Is that right?
Not really. I think where the condition variable is needed is that when multiple transactions try to write to the same segment or same set of segment, they need to be coordinated to on the edge of segment rolling. That's where we need condition variables.
Sure. Okay. Well, you can certainly introduce a more POSIX-like condition variable if you need to, but you could also just, add a mutex and take it appropriately. That would be fine too. Either way. For the segment cleaner thing you mentioned, I would encourage you to try to break that into smaller PRs if you can. I think it probably means breaking the segment cleaner into sort of segment cleaner zones or something, one associated with each device, something like that. If you could introduce that as an initial PR, that might be a good foundation. Or if you can find a simpler, craftier way to do it, in the meantime, that would be fine too.
Okay. I will try to submit our simple implementation in the first PR.
Right. Precisely. That would be ideal.
Okay.
Small PRs merge fast.
Okay.
Okay. Did I miss anyone? Do we have any other things we want to talk about?
Just quick question about LBA Manager. Recently, I spotted on one of the builders, I spotted a fail to build from source issue, which was about iterators not row constructability. Just wanted to ask, because I saw the MISC cleanup PR, just wanted to ask whether it targets the problem or it still needs our
Probably
attention.
Not. Email me. It means I missed
Sure.
it, and it's probably a Clang bug or something, or a Clang whatever.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I have a tiny gist. Here it is.
Do you have the builder this came from?
Yeah, but need to find it. I will provide.
Yeah,
I
send
will
me
email
an
you.
email. I'll need to set up a container so I can reproduce it and figure out what's going on.
I think I met this issue also, and I think this comes up when you use GCC 9, and I moved to use GCC 10. This error just disappeared.
Yeah, I'm not building with 9, I don't think. Yeah, this is on CentOS 8. Okay. Yeah, send me an email with a link to the builder.
Sure.
Well, this might be enough, I suppose. Anyway. Are we trying to build on GCC 9? I don't actually know where we are on that.
I think we do. It's
okay, cool. I'll fix it then.
On Shaman. Okay.
I did want to point out for anyone who cares, bstart now defaults to no daemonize. So if you need it to run in the foreground, there's a Crimson foreground option.
Oh, good to know.
All right, that is it. Later, y'all.
Thanks.
Everybody.
Yep, thanks.
See you soon. Bye.